Kim, what is that one big thing?
Well, next Tuesday, the Fed, right? They're going to meet and they're going to tell us what they're going to do. Who cares what they do that day? What we care about is what they're going to do in the future. And it looks like Canada has shown us what they're going to do, and that's probably going to slow the rate of increases. And I think that is what has been driving the market. I'm going to agree with Santelli today and think that that Friday kind of soft announcement through back channels was really important to everybody that follows stocks.
Yeah, the Fed. We heard from I don't think we've ever talked about the Bank of Canada on the show, maybe the network before. I know, it's like, what's happening up there? But suddenly we're talking about the Bank of Canada. Do you think what Canada did by not raising as much as possible, that our neighbors and friends to the north, that's going to be an indication that our Fed is going to get more dovish, or maybe in their case, a snow owl?
Yeah, I do. And, well, even more importantly, I think the bond market, which when I got into this business, I used to think equities were, all that. And now I realize the bond people really have to be smart to be able to make money because of what they do, right? They're very limited in how to make money, but they have to be right. And I think they've been right with the run-up and now the reversal of interest rates. And I think that they can read the Fed, they can read the room, which is a global room, not just the U.S. and Canada, but what's happening with the dollar, what's happening all over the world with bonds. And I think they have shown us what the future is, and the future is lower rates.
All right, let's talk about the future of investing, because we want to know about the future, not the past, because the past has been ugly for Intel. Last few years, I don't think disaster for investors is too strong of a word. Stocks down 46%, in something like a year? But you think the bleeding may finally be over for Intel?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen in the short term, but I do know that they have a pretty good strategy going forward, and their operations aren't in Taiwan. And I think that's super important. To have all of that intellectual property on an island that has China looming over it is an issue, but it's also an issue because it is a earthquake-prone place too. And so much of our economy and our defense and just everything that we do depends on semiconductors. And I think that even Taiwan Semi is going to move off of that island. But Intel has a footprint here. They're expanding the footprint in Ohio, and I think they're going to be a leader for a lot of firms that they might switch to from Taiwan Semi to Intel if they can get their act together and become the fab for other chip makers.
Yeah, you wonder if the market will finally start to reward a company that is doing what they've been asked to do, which is invest more in the United States. Intel has done that. You want investors to reward them because otherwise companies may decide to go the opposite way. Quickly, UPS, another name you like even in this environment.
Sure. They're a company that uses technology really, really well. They're a technology company that just happens to deliver packages. And I think yesterday's quarter announcement was really great. They're also very shareholder friendly, where they're kind of kicking out less profitable customers and keying on profitable customers. Gotta love that. And they have always had a great dividend, and they return shareholder value.
Kim Forrest, Boca Capital Partners. Good to have you back on again, Kim. Thank you very much.